Hello, everybody. Today is update day for Diablo 4, introducing the Abattoir of Zir. I've played it for about an hour, trying it out, seeing how far I can get. And truth be told, I don't like being that negative, but I think this is a pretty unnecessary addition to the game. It feels very short-sighted, and I did not have fun with it, to be quite honest with you. There's two problems that I have with it. One of those problems is a bit easier to solve, and the other one is a bit more difficult to solve, if I can at least summarize my opinions on it. If you don't know, it's basically just a new pinnacle activity that's extremely difficult, and you will very likely die if you even attempt to do it yourself. Okay, here's the thing with Abattoir of Zir, is that the cost for entering it is pretty high. You have to craft the sigils, and the sigil dust requirement, even for tier 1, is 800, which is kind of a lot. So if you didn't have a lot of these things lying around, or if you are dying too much trying to clear them, then you're just going to run out of attempts. You could maybe say if your build's not good enough or your gear's not good enough, if you can't even do tier 1. But the truth be told is that my experience, and also the experience I'm seeing a lot of other people talk about online from reading comments and seeing some other people try it, is that a lot of the times the issue is not the trash or the the elites. I mean, they can be very dangerous, don't get me wrong, but the problem that I have are the Bloodseekers that spawn at the end. These things are omega dangerous, and almost every attack is putting you at lethal, low HP, or just straight up killing you if you get hit by like two things at the same time. You're just dead. Engaging them at the same time is extremely dangerous unless you have a ton of defense. You really need to defense yourself up. Like, defenses are king for Abattoir of Zir. Damage can come later, especially with the Tears of Blood glyph. But yeah, it's extremely lethal. Hardcore characters, Lameo. Don't even try. Don't even waste your time. It basically almost insta deleting a hardcore 100 character, level 100 character. Don't even. I wouldn't even bother. It's not even worth it. Which goes into my second point, which is that I don't think this content's even worth your time. The main benefit you get out of it is the Tears of Blood glyph, and don't get me wrong, it is very powerful. In terms of a single item slash glyph slash thing that you can just slot into your board, it is obscenely powerful. It gives you a insane damage multiplier. It is ridiculous. It is very powerful. But then the follow-up question is, why do you even need it? And the answer is you don't. If you are already at the point where you could be attempting Abattoir of Zir, you probably have a fairly decently geared character, or maybe you have a very well geared character. You're already killing Duriel, you've already killed Uber Lilith, probably. Like, do you need the Tears of Blood glyph for anything in the game? No, not even at all. Not even remotely at all. Like, I guess it could help you, kill Duriel faster, Uber Lilith faster, but all the other bosses that you can summon they're not even level 100. Varshan's like 75. The other knight dude, he's like level 85. Beast and Ice Thing is also 85. Like, these things are easy to kill. They're not that hard to kill, especially if you're over leveling them. If you're like level 90 plus with decent gear, you can kill these bosses like very easily. I would hope so if your build is half decent. So the point of the Tears of Blood glyph feels very just like unnecessary. I really just, man, I just have a lot of fun with this. I almost feel like Blizzard is just trying out something early for a Abattoir of Zir 2.0 to come along down the line, maybe in season 3, season 4. Now, truth be told, I'm not opposed to there being a pinnacle activity. I think the game does actually need that, and I don't think Uber Lilith is it, but I also don't think this is it either. Getting just instantly killed or almost instantly either one shot or instantly killed from like damage over time effects is just Man, not fun. Maybe some people find it fun. I personally didn't find it fun. Um, Even functionally, the whole thing just feels very just uninteresting. It's essentially just a very difficult greater rift from Diablo 3. You have a 10-minute time limit, and you have to kill enough enemies to summon the Bloodseekers at the end. You kill the Bloodseekers within the 10-minute window, and you get your loot, and you can spend glyph XP. Probably for the Tears of Blood glyph, to be honest. You're not. I doubt most people are using this to level their normal glyphs, except for maybe like a couple times they might use that. But yeah, yeah. To go back to my other point, though, I'm glad the content exists because it is a extremely difficult challenge, and it keeps ramping up in difficulty. I only managed to clear tier one. I almost cleared T2 a couple times with my upheaval build with some changes that I made to it, including the Tears of Blood glyph. But it's just way too lethal, way too rippy. I died like a bunch of times. And I'm not here to just throw my head at the wall at content that is basically just asking me to war of attrition, try and survive through the elites. Hopefully I don't get too like elite packs that are too dangerous, because there are some very fucked elite modifiers that just are super dangerous. The lightning pillars that like just constantly attack, those things are extremely dangerous. Fuck those. Seriously, fuck those. And then the other big thing that I just did not have a lot of fun with either is the shrine effects are very powerful, and you basically are fishing for good shrine RNG. Like, you know, artillery shrine, like the bonus projectiles from the artillery shrine seem to deal just ludicrous damage. The blast wave shrine is overpowered damage, and overpower is extremely strong. You're one-shotting anything that gets hit by blast shrine. Conduit shrine felt very strong as well. Lethal shrine probably not, because it's just guaranteed crits, which is, I mean, it's nice, but it's not the power spike that the other ones are. I haven't seen a greed shrine. I sure hope there's not a greed shrine. That would be troll as fuck. That thing would do nothing for you. So yeah, I didn't find it particularly interesting to just pray for a shrine to spawn close enough to the end of my progression through the dungeon, and hopefully I can use it on the Bloodseekers. Because that's kind of going to be the strat. If you just attempt to get a good enough map with enemies that aren't totally ass, elites that don't totally suck, and you get good shrine placements for either a lot of enemies / elites, and getting one to help kill you the Bloodseekers at the end. Because everything in here does so much damage that you either have to find a way to one-shot all of them while surviving at least most attacks, or you're just like full defense. But I mean, even like something super fully defensive, I think is still just going to be extremely dangerous. These things are like level 160 plus, and they just deal a whack ton of damage. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, so to kind of recap, I've been rambling. This is not scripted at all. Apologies. But the small problem was that there is a cost. I'm okay with there being a cost of going in. I think that's fine. But if you die too many times, you would then have to farm sigil dust, which is just that's not, people don't want to be doing that, man. Like 800 sigil dust for even the tier 1 craft is just, that's a lot. For a lot of people, I would imagine. I'm guessing most people who have been playing fairly frequently at level 100 probably have enough for 15-20 attempts probably at tier 1. If you've been really blasting, you probably have a lot more than that, but it does suck, because if you want to keep trying this content, eventually you'll hit a point where you just need more sigil dust, and that's not going to be very fun to have to grind out a bunch of that currency just to then try this again. At least I don't think that would be very fun. Maybe other people think differently, but I don't really like that personally. Maybe lower the cost. I think that's probably a pretty easy fix of that. Just make the sigils maybe less expensive or something. I'm not really sure if that's what Blizzard wants. I don't know. That's just my first point. But my second point is kind of going to be reiterating what I've mentioned already, which is there's kind of not really a point to doing this because the power spike of the Tears of Blood glyph is completely unnecessary for any other piece of content in the game. You don't need this glyph at all unless you just want to push to see how big your numbers can go, or you want to keep going further into the Abattoir of Zir tiers of the dungeons. If we look at something like Path of Exile, which I haven't touched, like the super uber endgame stuff in Path of Exile, I have not gotten to that point personally, but just spitballing a rough idea, kind of based on some knowledge about PoE and their uber fights, is like, not everyone wants to do that content, which is fine, but there's at least like unique rewards or very powerful rewards or currencies and things like that you can earn from those uber bosses in Path of Exile that still make them pretty worthwhile to do, like when you can do them. And I just don't think Abattoir of Zir has that right now. I wonder if it would be a lot better if when you completed an Abattoir of Zir, it gives you like just a ton of gold, like just millions of gold. Almost like how, a Whisper Cache is. You just get a fuck ton of gold. Maybe you get a fuck ton of like Forgotten Souls. You get like 50 Forgotten Souls or something. Maybe that's a bit too much. Maybe for like the higher tiers, you can scale the rewards a bit more if you keep progressing into the higher tiers. Maybe you could even get like a percentage chance to get like a Duriel summon material. Like that would be pretty nice. It's like, oh shit, you got like a free Duriel summon. You get like one of each of the items, or I guess you need 2 to summon Duriel, but maybe you get like one of each of the mucus egg and the bloodstone rock, whatever those items are actually called. Like if those could like have a chance to drop or something, like that would be sick. But it's just otherwise it's just not really there. Especially because you can't even really do a whole lot with Abattoir of Zir for like alt characters. Like the glyph XP is just for that character, and glyphs are character bound; they're not account bound for the season. And you get some gear, and the gear is at least like 900 item power. It seems like is like the rough idea, which is you can share the gear, I suppose, between your characters. So maybe you get a legendary or some good rares or something, but you can't really transfer like the glyph XP, which is the big thing, or the glyph itself, which is kind of fair because a level 50 with Tears of Blood would be ridiculously overpowered, right, when you start getting Paragon points. So I'm not saying they need to make glyphs account bound, especially since the Tears of Blood would just completely trivialize leveling after level 50. But I am saying I do wish there were other things for Abattoir of Zir that weren't just getting glyph XP to spend on the Tears of Blood glyph, which is, like I said, like 3 times now, is completely unnecessary for anything in Season 2. So, yeah. I think currently where it sits in the game is really awkward and very unnecessary. But again, like I said, I am kind of glad it exists. It's a new kind of proving grounds, like test your build sort of environment that the game kind of needed, since Uberlive can be completely steamrolled with the S tier builds. Uberlive just falls apart like instantly, so that's not even a good test of your build. So this is a better kind of end game pinnacle challenge, but unless you like doing it for the sake of doing it, there's really no point. I wouldn't be rushing to log in to do this. I did it tier 1 just to get the glyph, just to see the power spike, and then I tried a few times for tier 2 completion, and at that point I was just like, no. Just like, dude, I'm not wasting my time on this. I'm good. Yeah, anyway, that's gonna be it for me. A lot of rambling, sorry about that. I'm not really one to script content most of the time, so hopefully you enjoyed me talking for like 15 minutes or 14 minutes. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all soon, and I hope you have a wonderful day.